Hey, yo, peace. It's Miles from Bass and Vinyl, and if you're a Drake super fan, today's probably not a good day for you right now because Kendrick just responded with his diss track "Euphoria," another jab at Drake. Right, as you may know, Drake is either executive producer or some type of producer on the popular show Euphoria, which is a lot of I don't want to say what that can be alluding to, but it's like a teenage show. And if you've been paying attention, to the news cycles and these different podcasts and media platforms, you know how that ties in. But Kendrick came right out the gate, man, with this really nice Teddy Pendergrass sample, and I already knew it was about to be a problem when I heard that. You know what I mean? He's not playing no games. I don't think that he's delivered like a knockout blow, but this is definitely a haymaker. I would say. He's just playing into the most obvious things about this whole back and forth is that Drake isn't like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like to me, Kendrick represents like the true essence of hip hop. Drake is kind of like sadly what hip hop is becoming, right? And it wasn't always that way. I felt like Drake used to be, on that path to being, you know, uh more along the lines of the traditional uh hip hop values, but it's just turned into a whole effort to like maintain an image that's not real. And the thing about it is, we grew up with Drake. You know what I mean? I remember when Drake dropped coming out here, to Atlanta 2009. Listening to the melodies, listening, to all the player songs, and then he had bars and everything. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like going to high school with a guy, that was like a dork. You know what I mean? And he grows up to be something that nobody knows him to be. He's this tough guy, mobster. He has money, so he got a bunch of goons around him and talking about pulling up and sliding and guns and getting people whack. Like, bro, you're still Drake, man. Like, it's time to cut all that nonsense out. So I'm glad that Kendrick addressed that directly. Like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, you're not fooling anybody but your core fans that choose to, accept that type of rhetoric from you. So like I said, I don't think it was a KO. He didn't get too disrespectful. It's still I wouldn't say it's over, So like I said, I like to be fair. So some of Kendrick fans are saying, this is a knockout blow. Then you have the other side that's Drake fans that's saying, oh, Drake doesn't have to respond because this was just trash. We've heard all of this, but it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. It's the setup, it's the intent behind it. So even Kendrick dropping on a random Tuesday in the afternoon versus Drake with the AI leak, or is this a real verse, or is this the Tupac AI samples, the Snoop AI samples? It's just a very stark contrast, between the two artists and the values that they uphold. Kendrick keeping everything funky, just like we had it from the beginning of time to now. He's responding directly, his voice, his bars directly to Drake. Whereas Drake is playing industry games, he's trying to, put out the little tester to see how people receive the AI verse, then he drops the real verse, and he has to drop it on a certain day to get the numbers. And he's just playing this whole analytical algorithm game that doesn't apply in hip-hop, bro. Like, we don't care, you know what I'm saying? And what you see often is a lot of Drake fans automatically default to that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not going to play this at the club. This didn't have the same numbers that push-ups had. And we don't care, bro. So that's why I'm so adamant in saying we don't want to hear from you right now. If that's your take on this, is the numbers and the replay value and not what's being said and the impact that these tracks are having at a very pivotal moment in hip hop. Hip hop was, I don't want to say it was dead, but it was boring last year. So we finally get to this. We need to break away from that whole system of thinking that good music is determined by numbers, by just being popular, by being catchy. That's not the case at all. But Kendrick is going crazy. What I anticipate is that Drake will respond very quickly. He'll have a few catchy punchlines, and those Kendrick I mean, those Drake super fans will say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then, the hip hop purists and, the true hip hop fans will call him out for it. So I think this will be a back and forth. Nobody's serving a death blow yet. I think this was definitely a haymaker, a good gut punch to Drake to let him know what's up. He also mentioned that um, you might want to spin a block with Pusha T before you come in this direction. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Is he gonna have Pusha T involved in some way, or is he just gonna tackle the thing solo and just go straight for Drake? Say it every time. But that's my early, analysis on this, the early breakdown. Y'all let me know what you think. If you're a Drake super fan, don't comment. If you're a Kendrick super fan and you just hate Drake, don't comment, bro. Like, give me your unbiased opinion. Who do you think is ahead? I personally have Kendrick in the lead right now with this track. Um, but let's see, how everything goes in the rounds to come. Hopefully this plays out into the summer. Comment below. Let me know who you think is winning. What do you think about the track? And we'll keep this discussion going for the rest of the week.